Good evening, everybody. It's David Pulsover again at PelicanPreps.com. I'm joined by, and I'd like everybody just to wave their hand so they can see it, Jared Roser, who works with me at Rivals.com, Coach David Franklin from Haynesville, Coach Greg Salter from Covington, Coach Jess Curtis from Manny, and the newbie, Coach Daniel Luquet over at Hahnville High School. Coaches, and it's been a very interesting week with the LHSAA coming out saying, this is the plan, knock on wood right now with COVID of we're going to start in October. And, I can report that it looks like it's going to be your week 3 opponent is going to be your week 1 opponent. That's what we're thinking right now, and a 16-team playoff. But let's start positive first before we start talking how to deal with everything else. Start with Coach Franklin. Coach Franklin, how good is it just to be out on the field, practicing again, and getting that sweat going?
Well, in a way, it's still a little disappointing because you still don't know what you're looking forward to. But, we only did 2 days this week because I still think we're a long ways off. But the 2 days that we had, especially our first day, our kids were really excited just to get just to put a helmet on and go out on the field and run around. We did some 7-on-7 stuff and some stuff that we weren't able to do, before we could practice. But it was good. I mean, it kind of gave the kids some hope, gave the coaches some hope, and it just felt more like where we're supposed to be at this time of the year. So it was good.
Coach Salter, what is a Covington High practice looking like right now as opposed to how this would be a year ago? Just kind of give us a description.
It's the focus, is on the player safety and stuff, and not so much the X's and O's. Right now, it's just trying to get everything organized, get the kids where they're supposed to be, trying to keep them that safe distance, trying to adhere to all the rules that are, being put forth by the LHSAA. So it's definitely different, but it's still within those white lines. It's still that regulation football field. They're able to throw helmets on, able to run around, able to compete and, use a ball now. So, while it is a little different as far as the contact aspect and the full group work, it does still feel, somewhat like football. And I'll echo what Coach just said. I think the most important thing is that it generates a little hope within these guys because everything is up until this point, it seems so far away. And I know it continues to get pushed back, but, as long as there's, they're making the efforts and there's something on the horizon, our kids are eager to, get to work and have that hope with them. So,
Coach Curtis, is it really just you only can worry about the day right in front of your face? You can't worry about what a season may look like. It's just let's go try to practice as hard as we can today.
Yeah, that's what I've told the kids throughout the summer and now. We're going to try to get better every day. And you try to spin it, a positive spin to them, and that maybe, we're getting extra time here. This is extra time that we can work on the little things. And I told them that it can make us better if we approach it that way, And that's what we are as football coaches, always dealing with adversity. And this has been our share of that. But it was good to get out there this week, though, get the helmets on again and running around, doing 7-on-7, just like Coach said. Man, it started to feel like a little bit of more normalcy around here, Manny.
Coach Luquet, I'll ask you the last question before I pass it off to Jared. For you taking over, and it's your first year being a head coach, how important is it just to be out there, no matter how it is? If you got a 6-foot stick between them, if you're not in pads, just how important is it for the future of Hahnville football to just be out there this week?
The one thing that we worry about a lot is just, everything that's going on in their life outside of just football. So it's an opportunity for those guys to get on the field and if, hour and a half, 2 hours, however long we're out there, just a chance to forget about what's going on in the world. And we really try to preach that. We do our best of keeping the 6 feet and make sure we're doing the things we need to do. But it's just so good to have that family-oriented atmosphere out there and having the kids there. And our coaching staff has done a really good job of just trying to be positive about everything and just being pretty honest with them. What we know is what they know. And, I want them to hear things from me before they hear it from anything on Twitter and other sources like that, because, at the end of the day, this is about them. It's their season, and it's something that they've been looking forward to since we got knocked out in the last year. But just trying to keep it normal, trying to keep it like it's been, you know, in the past, and just trying to keep it a little fun, and just trying to keep them on edge, you know. Not the monotony is something that scares me a little bit moving forward.
Jared, I'm gonna pass it over to you, man.
Yeah, you know, I'm curious what some of your reactions were the last couple of days to that plan that was released yesterday morning, the October 8th target date to start, but knowing that Mr. Bonine referenced it as being kind of ambitious and that it is kind of flexible, and how to approach that when a date gets put out there, but it's still a very fluid date, as he mentioned.
I can tell you for myself, I was happy to get a date just to know, you know, whether or not, and I know that might be not to be the case. It might be pushed back again, but to have that date, to be able to, you know, alter our schedule based off of that, whether we need to slow down, whether we needed to speed things up. So it was important for us, you know, to have, you know, something firm. Again, I know it can change, but we can adapt off of that. So you know, I appreciated, you know, getting something like that.
Yeah, I mean the big thing too for us was you know, again, getting the date and understanding that we need to slow down a little bit and pace ourselves, because I think that's what most of us coaches are thinking now. Now, how can we game plan this to where we're not burning kids out before we even get to, you know, before we start hitting people, you know. So I think the date's good. It kind of lets us coaches know, like Coach Franklin was talking about, how he's going to try to pace his kids, you know, to where we're, you know, they're ready to go whenever we get to October, and hopefully that we're at that phase where we can play football. But I think the date was just good for us coaches for pacing how we're going to practice from here on out.
Yeah, I know for us, it was the biggest thing is that, you know, we were trying to contemplate when we wanted to go pads, you know, so to being at that October date, now you can kind of say, okay, we got 21 days, no rush of getting the pads, and you almost kind of ramp it up a little bit when you get to phase 3, because let's be honest, we've been to phase 2 3 times already. So what's to say we get to phase 3 and we just roll through it? You know, obviously everybody in this room and across the state wants that to happen, but I think we're really going to look at that phase 3 date, you know, that August 28th date, and if he pushes us forward, then getting the pads and really start kind of ramping up as we, you know, push forward.
I agree with Coach. I agree with Coach. It's good to have a date. You know, you got something to look forward to. But I think, like you said, the having, you know, looking forward to getting into phase 3 where you can start doing something different. I think that's the main thing. Step towards that date.
We've got 4 different parishes represented here, and parishes that possibly have different policies when it comes to COVID-19. I'd love to get all y'all's responses on what are you hearing of, if we have a season, if fans will be allowed in the stands. At this point, we can only worry about what we know today. So what are you hearing in terms of if it's going to be a parish decision? Is it going to be a school board decision? What are you hearing in your respective areas?
So for us, we heard it was going to be a district thing, basically up to our school board. And for us, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what that looks like, because, you know, we sell season tickets, been doing it for 30, 40 years. So you say 25%, 50%, it's a nightmare. I'm just glad I'm a football coach and not in charge of season tickets. So, but that's what I had heard. I don't know if y'all have heard anything different on that aspect.
That's what I've heard. You know, I think it's going to be a school board type deal for us. And, you know, we're the only football playing school in our parish. You know, I feel good about it. You know, being here in Manny's a lot different being in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, you know, what that looks like. And so I think that'll help us. I think you're going to see it's going to be a school board decision probably across the board.
Same with us. You know, I just heard, you know, whatever Mr. Bonine said the other day as far as the parish and your school system deciding. I haven't been told at all that we won't have people in the stands. That hasn't been mentioned to us yet. And it's something that can certainly change. But you know, as far as I'm concerned, whenever we get into phase 4 and you know, back to playing, you know, I'm assuming that means everything's back to normal.
That's my deal. Is I think we're all worried about I mean, we're worried about too much because we're worried about fans and buses and practices and games and all this. Well, and it doesn't matter. We're not going to start playing games until we're back to normal in phase 4. So I don't think it matters about fans. If we're normal, if we're in phase 4, I'm assuming everybody can come. So I don't think that really matters. So that's just my understanding of it. I mean, phase 4, whatever that is normal. So if we're normal, I don't see why we can put 40 kids on a bus and everybody can come to a game. That's just my take on it. I don't know. I may be wrong, but.
Garrett, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure of each of your specific schedules, but I know some schools have some out-of-state games on their schedule. Some schools have some games against schools from other areas of the state that I think some coaches have heard some concerns about that much travel, heard some concerns whether it be parents or school officials. Do any of you guys foresee any scheduling adjustments that you have to kind of fix at this point?
I know we don't.
In anticipation.
I know we
Well,
don't.
we do.
So I'll let you guys handle that.
We do, because if we start week 3, our first opponent is an Arkansas school, so we're in a bind already. So, but it depends on when we start.
You know, for us, we're going to lose our favorite game, which is button heads with Union Parish. You know, and that's our fans are already down in the mouth about that. But you know, it is what it is. You know, we're just hopeful that we can get that North Dakota game because that's another big rival game for us. You know, and so. That's the only thing as far as concerns. No, we just want to play these teams on our schedules.
Yeah, we have no change. I mean, we lose the opportunity to travel a little bit and play Denham and Mandeville. But other than that, I mean, we got a bye later on in our schedule, which is going to be there. So we're going to be starting one game out of district, and then we'll be able to run through the entire district, which is. I think it's good for some of those schools like the Lafourche Parish schools and Terrebonne Parish schools, which is good for us. But my biggest concern for them is they haven't been doing anything that we've been doing. They've been shut down for the last 2 weeks. They just start practicing for the first time on Monday. So, it's crazy. It's just the level of what parishes are doing down here. It's because we're all in between New Orleans and Baton Rouge, which are hotbeds. So everybody does their own thing. Based off their own kids, and so. But other than the schedule part, nah, we're not going to have any changes.
My question for you guys, and again, I always appreciate your time. I got one more question after this. Is we don't know what things are going to look like numbers-wise once all the kids are back in school. I know, Coach Franklin, you said school's coming back soon for you guys up there. Have you you're seeing a lot on the college level, mask up so we can play, the players begging people to do that kind of stuff. Have you spoken to your kids at all about that to try to be the leaders of, hey, spread the word that, believe in the virus or not or whatever, but please mask up so we can keep the number down because we want to play football? Have you tried to talk to them about spreading that to their classmates throughout the school? Because, when everybody's bunched up, not everybody, walking down the Covington High hallway, for example, is going to be 6 feet apart. I'd love to know y'all's approach of what you told your kids about that.
We talked about it a little bit. We talked about it a little this afternoon, and that just being a leader in the school and how school's going to be different and all that. But I mean, it's different for us. Small town is different. We've had workouts all summer. We just ran 2 groups. We don't have 40 kids, so we can run 2 groups. But when they leave here, all of our kids are down here in the basketball court playing basketball. And so, we've kind of been lucky. I think a small school is a little bit different, than larger schools. But absolutely, we've encouraged it, and we're going to continue to encourage it because that's what's going to make a difference as far as whether you're going to be able to play or not. And then also not whether you're going to be able to play, but when you get to play, keeping your kids healthy and continuing and having everybody out there to play. I think that's a big thing.
Yeah, I mean, we've told our kids, the people that handle this the best, you're going to have to be good, and you're also going to have to be able to handle this situation well. And that means, masking up and sanitizing and just doing the things we need to do to be successful and keep kids out there playing, So, again, I think the team that handles this situation the best is going to be your champion at the end.
Well, we started school today, so we've had our conversation over the last week, but our school was split into two days. So basically, I have probably 140 kids in the program. 70 of them come on a Monday. The other 70 come on a Tuesday. So it's weird, man. It's weird. It's almost like, Hahnville, which is a big 5A school. We're 3A numbers on a Monday, 3A numbers on a Tuesday. But you'd be surprised, man. I think these kids want a sense of normalcy, and I'm not just talking about football players. I'm talking about just students in general. I don't think they enjoy being away from each other, and I know that a lot of them see each other in the neighborhood, but it's just a different atmosphere when you come to school. And I think that, I know just observing today, there was not an issue with the 6 feet and wearing masks. I think these kids are just tired of being quarantined to their house or to an aunt's house. I just think they want to get back to normal just like we do. And when it's not just football players, and I think you see that 5 months is a long time. So I just think that's enough motivation for all of them.
Yeah, and I think, all of our kids, having gone through the summer, I don't want to speak for the other coaches, but I mean, our kids all kind of have a head start, of learning the rules and learning how to adhere to them and how to adapt and to adjust to the situation at hand. So, we expect them, to hit the ground running the first day of school and then follow all the policies and to set that example.
Jared, fire away, man.
With football being backed up, potentially we're talking about even through Christmas, any initial reactions on the potential overlap if basketball doesn't get pushed back or if they get into wrestling situations potentially or any kind of multi-sport dynamics that come into play with football pushed back at least this much?
It really affects
my mindset is, whenever they tell us to go, we'll be ready to go. I'm not going to complain, just so long as these kids get the opportunity to play. And if it happens to be a situation where it's running into other sports, I'm fortunate to have a great relationship, whether it's with our basketball coach, our track coach, our baseball coaches. I think we can work something out because at this point, it's just about getting each and every kid out on the field. If it means, a little bit less, one less win or 2 less wins, then so be it. Just so long as these guys are playing, and that's the way I feel about it.
I totally agree with Coach. I think that's the main thing is just giving them an opportunity. But, at a small school, when I have to keep saying that, but we have several kids that will play basketball and baseball. And it really affects us and it affects coaches because which our basketball coach, they're all football coaches. So, but I think, there's no ideal situation. We just need an opportunity, like you said. And I think that's the main thing is just giving the kids a chance to play something.
Yeah, I'm following right in with Coach Frank, and that was exactly what I was going to say. 2A school, our kids are multi-sport athletes. Half of them play basketball, the other half are baseball guys. And we encourage them to do that. Basketball coach does a great job of backing his season up every year, and I'm sure he'd be willing to do that if Manny was playing in New Orleans again. So I think it's good. I think I can handle New Orleans at the end of December too, if we're lucky.
You missed your whole season.
And then for me, man, I just until I see a calendar for them, I guess it's a worry that I don't even want to have to try to worry about. I mean, the thing they sent out just had 3 sports on it, so that's all I can really worry about. And I'm like, Coach, most of those guys coach for me, so at the end of the day, they want to be in the dome just as much as we do. So if it's backing their season up or doing something at the end before, but I just a day at a time, man. I told somebody asked me today, I said, how is it? I said, it's like riding a stationary bike. I'm sweating my ass off, doing a really good job, but the next thing I'd look around, I haven't moved one bit, So that's kind of one day at a time for me. My wrestling coach, he could just wait a little while.
I've got one more question, fellas. And again, as always, I appreciate your time. I don't know if you saw it, but we've got the possibility, as I get texted by Coach Stanio, he wants to go in an hour. We'll get him the next time around. there's a proposal to just for this prep season, bring everybody back, bring mom and dad back together again, private and public high schools, you know, for state championships in football. Now, granted, I will say this before you say anything. We only have 4 public school coaches here, so we don't have a private school to represent themselves. I'd love to just get your thoughts on that proposal, and is it something you would possibly be for as a one-time thing for the 2020 season?
I mean, again, I don't care. Just so long as our kids are playing football, whatever they need to do to ensure that these young men get an opportunity to play, whether it's their senior year or what have you. Whether we can get the cheerleaders and the dance team and the band back in the stands, whatever they need to do that, we'll go with the flow. And I mean, I just want the kids on the field and be able to play.
Isn't the proposal to bring back all the championships under one roof? Is that what it is, David?
I thought the proposal was everybody's together. Jared, you might be able to correct me if I'm wrong here.
No, I think it's just a venue standpoint, as opposed to last year where it was separated in different locations. They'd be in one building potentially, not actually playing one another.
Hold on, let's see. I got Robin's story up right here. To rejoin champions as a part of a one-year time. No, it's the Eddie Bonine and David Federico revealed select schools have been invited to rejoin LHSAA championship events in 2021 as a part of a one-year COVID exception designed to help simplify school operations.
Go ahead, Jared.
Like going back to basically like the 9 championships in the dome together, not like 5 state championships at the school.
All right, well then y'all forget about my.
It's more like meshing the logistics to take that extra finding a site off of the plate of more people, because the contracts are already in place for some of these other.
I got you. Everybody knows where my views are on that. Jared, go ahead. Last question of the night.
No, man. I mean, I think it was a good conversation, and it was good to hear from everybody of kind of where we are right now.
All right, well, awesome. Coach David Franklin, Coach Greg Salter, Coach Jess Curtis, Coach Daniel Luquet, Coach Jeff Tannehill, wherever he is out in cyberspace from Neville. We appreciate y'all's time as always, fellas. Thank you very much.
Sir,
Thanks,
thank you.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you, guys.